Hello everyone, welcome back to me! How are we all doing today on the YouTube channel? Now, don't worry if I'm wearing the same shirt as the last video. I'm not grim, I'm just doing a few of these at the same time. I'm not that grim. Anyway, we are going to do today a Melffy deck profile. Now, the reason I built the Melffy deck over here is, it's actually for one thing, it's extremely cheap. It's a fun deck, it's very cheap, everything's available in common or super basically. It's a very fun deck and I like it a lot. The main reason is that this is actually a gift for my partner, because my partner has not really played Yu-Gi-Oh! In quite a long time, and I was like, you know what? They saw me open a box of Corey. They said, oh my goodness me, this is the cutest card to ever exist. They're not wrong. And so I was like, hey, that's an easy win. I'm gonna build them a Melffy deck. So here we go. Here's the Melffy deck, which is a gift to my partner, and I think will be a fun way to teach them the game and get them playing. So yeah, here you go. I've also got enough cards to make this for myself as well. So haha, I have 2 of these. So into the profile. We have one Melffy Rabby. It is a brick. It's a bit of a garnet, if anything, but you do need to play one for the sake of Melffy Rabbies, because it's normal monster. Melffy Rabbies has some very strong effects. It's a new card in Chaos Origins. When it's summoned, you can add a Melffy monster from deck to hand, and then if it's a normal monster, like this, you can special summon as many Melffys from hand as you can, as you want to. So that's why it's good, because you can summon this, grab that, just explode on the field after that point. Also has an effect where, while normally Melffys can, when your opponent summons a monster, jump back into your hand, this instead jumps onto the field, and then can perform a fusion summon if it wants to. And it's also a tuner, so it does a lot. This does so much for the strategy, it is like turn 0 plays, it's very good. We have 3 copies of Melffy Wally. Has the effect of when your opponent summons a monster, it can return to the hand to summon 2 Melffy monsters from the deck. This is 3 copies of Melffy Puppy. Very similar effect, but it's 1 beast type monster from the deck, one, I think, level 2 beast. So I like this at 3. I know a lot of list players at 1 or 2. I like it at 3 because this deck doesn't really have starters as it does like this, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It has starters and it has cards like this, which technically speaking, this does let you play, because even if you just open this and summon it during the end phase with its own effect, you can then jump into Wally, which then jump into one of the mystical beasts and then go from there. So it does a lot. It is probably your worst starter, as it were, but it is still powerful. 1 Melffy Catty, 1 Penny, 1 Fenny, and 1 Pony. I think one of each name is solid. Again, a lot of lists I see are shooing some of these. Fenny rarely gets played. Pony's kind of iffy. I'm not playing Hop Ear Squadron, for example, because I think Penny just does the same thing, but kind of a little bit better. So, yeah, I think one of each name is fine. It's cool to have options of doing stuff. That's my thought process. So, Catty adds 1 from deck to hand, Pony adds 1 from graveyard to hand, Fenny summons 1 from hand, and then Penny actually has a different effect. It's also the only one that's water attribute, which is that if a Melffy monster has gone to your hand during this turn, you can instead summon this from your hand and then perform a quick synchro, introducing this and a Melffy monster in your hand. So that's why I think, like, I'd rather use this rather than Hop Ear Squadron. I mean, both is fine, I just prefer it like this. We then have 3 copies of, let me check the name, Serenemesia, there we go. Mystical Beast of the Forest. This is basically a Melffy card. It is a TCG exclusive. We are getting so many good ones of those for like little niche strategies at the moment, and I love that. But it is basically a Melffy card. It summons a level 2 beast from the deck, then your opponent can summon a monster from hand, which means you can trigger your Melffy effect that you just summoned. So it does a lot for the strategy. It's very good. And also then we have a Calantosa, because this is essentially an honorary Melffy card as well. Whenever it's summoned by the effect of a beast monster, it can target 1 card on the field and destroy that target. And that's not once per turn, that's just every time it gets summoned. So you can summon it, quick synchro with it, summon it again, quick synchro with it. Like, you can do stuff with it, you can keep using it. You can use this like 2-3 times in a turn. Even once per turn is something, but you can use it a lot. That's it for the main deck engine. Oh, sorry, the monster engine, I should say. Non-engine. Another thing I like about this deck is that there's a lot of space for non-engine. If you want to, you can play some very powerful non-engine with this deck. You can play Dominus Purge, you can play Dominus Spiral if you want to. You can play a lot of very powerful non-engine. This is like a budget starter version for the deck, so I'm not doing that. But even so, you can have a lot of non-engine in this deck. So we have 3 Ash Blossom, standard. Actually not even insane with this. I mean, unless your opponent has, for example, something during their own turn, which they would be correct to do with Melffy. If they try to fool you during your own turn, they're getting literally 0, maybe 1 draw. That's it. So it's not really a lot during your own turn, but during your opponent's turn, they should hold it for them. 3 Ghost Spell, standard. 3 Ghost Ogre. Again, you have the room for all 3 at this point. 2 Droll and 3 Fua, all fairly standard sort of budget options for a new player getting into the game. That's the thought process behind these here. Onto the spells. No traps in the main deck, but we have 3 Melffy Footsteps. This is an absolutely absurd card for the strategy. So this lets you add up to 4 Melffy monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, and then it jumps immediately to your end phase on resolution. Now that sounds bad. It ain't, because all the Melffys, or most of the Melffys I should say, have effects which is, during the end phase, they can special summon themselves from your hand. So this is essentially summon 4. That's how, and that's it, and that's your full field. This is just your full combo in one. It's not like, it's also, you know, when you say, for example, oh, normal summon Dormouse is full combo. Normal summon Dormouse gets you into your full combo. This is your full combo. You activate this, you pass turn, because you have to. But that's it, and that gets you a very powerful little field ready for you. It does lose to a Raigeki, but it's there. 1 Melffy Hide and Seek protects your stuff from destruction, just a solid card to recycle your resources. 3 Droplet, and 1 Cool Buy. Again, fairly standard stuff there, to be fair. Just some nice easy non-engine to play, be able to get some resource out of that as well. Then for the extra deck, running 1 copy of SP Little Knight. It just seems like a solid option. It's just nice to have. 1 copy of Melffy Godmommy. This thing is insane. Gets so much attack. It's so huge because its attack is equal to the combined attack and defense of all the materials it has, which can end up being rather a lot because you tend to stack it on top of Melffy Mommy, which can get, not only can you summon this, if you can, technically speaking, this is what I find insane. You can summon this, technically speaking, with 6 materials. You can then add another, so it's 7 materials. You can then overlay this to make an 8 material Godmommy, and then if it battles, you can make a 9 material Zeus. Now, I don't know in what insane situation you would need a 9 material Zeus, but you can. You can with Melffys. We have 1 Melffy of the Forest, which is a very good card to get your play started as well. If you start with Serenemesia or the Melffy Rabbies, this is very good in that sense because it lets you add the spell and then use a spell and go from there. And 1 Joyce Melffy just helps you go for game in certain situations. Mainly you won't actually be attacking with anything other than Melffy Godmommy because that's the only thing in your deck that has good attack stats. But you can very easily summon Zeus and a very high material Zeus at that. And what I find very funny about this deck is that the boss monsters are not Melffy apart from Godmommy. The boss monsters are like mechs, like Zeus and like later on Satellite Warrior. Those are your main things, which I think they're just being piloted by little dudes. I find that very funny. We then have 1 copy of Merry Melffy's, very good card. 1 copy of Poplar of the White Forest. It lets you quick synchro. Like this lets you synchro climb. This is the whole point. So you can't very easily just like with 2 monsters make Satellite Warrior go from there. Because your stuff is all like level 2 or some case level 4 if they're like the extra ones, you have to synchro climb. So you do like Penny to summon this, and then this lets you summon Desert Locust, which also is a hand rip, but then let you quick synchro. So this is not quick synchro, this is just another option. This is Silvera, very good card, lets you book a Moonlight, well, book of Eclipse really. Then you quick synchro instead of that Desert Locust, you go into Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, which then lets you tag out into Stardust and then quick synchro into Satellite Warrior. So you can basically destroy 4 cards your opponent controls exceedingly easily with this and set up a very chunky Satellite Warrior. So it has a lot of interaction there. I'm running 2 copies of Melffy Joy Surprise. I don't think you need to as such, to be fair, but I just think it's like, you might as well run 2. There are probably other cards and other options where 2 is maybe a bit better. but I'm still kind of testing out this deck and finding its feet in a way, you know. Side deck, honestly, quite a standard side deck with 3 Meows and 3 Perulia. Again, just nice budget options that help you against a wide variety of different decks. 1 Harpies, 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Anti-Spell. Once you've used your own spells during your turn, you don't really need the rest of it. Like, you could, the other ones aren't really that important. 1 Rivalry. All your stuff is Beast for the most part, unless you want to go into other bits, but you don't need to, so a lot of your stuff is Beast, basically. 1 Solemn, and 3 Solemn Strike. Obviously, Solemn Accusation is kind of a better card, but in the absence of that, and once again trying to play sort of a budget-friendly list as well for my partner's first real deck, this is a nice, I think just a nice sort of standard side deck to go with. A wide variety of options to be able to sort of to play against and into whatnot. That's it for the deck profile, guys. I would say like a combo guide, like a sort of test hand sort of thing. I can do a test hand, but it's kind of a weird deck in that it doesn't combo during your own turn. It's almost purely reactive in the way that it plays. So it's kind of difficult to show, oh, here's what you do in your opening turn, here's how you play. Because a lot of the time it's activate spell, pass turn. Or it's Melffy Rabbies, add rabbit, summon Rabbi, make of the forest, add spell, use spell. Like, it doesn't do a lot in that sense. But the idea is that you just try and get some names on the field and then mess around during the opponent's turn, you know? But in my testing, it's at least reasonably consistent. A quick check here. 3, 4, 5. Honestly, that's a dreadful hand. Going second? Yeah, a bit better. But yeah, there you go. It's you summon a few Melffys, you go from there. It's not got I wouldn't call it a combo guide. You really have to pay attention to your opponent's field. This is why I think it's good to learn the game on, if anything, because this deck really heavily encourages learning the opponent's field and learning how different plays work to know when to activate your own effects. Also encourages learning about chain blocking, for example, because a lot of your stuff will summon from deck, which is very easily Ash Blossomable, which is unfortunate. So if you have more than one thing available when your opponent summons a monster, because they're all like, if this, so you can do like Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, Chain Link 3, you can leave the last one as something that your opponent either can't interact with very easily, or it doesn't matter if they do, and then your other ones will pop off. So that's the deck. Hope you enjoyed that. Give the deck a try. This is obviously an advanced constructed list. I know that the deck does fairly well in Genesis format. It struggles into Blitzkrieg, which is absolutely the most powerful deck in that format. But obviously, and don't take this as a confirmation of anything, just because I would imagine at the very least that Blitzkrieg will be getting higher points in the next points list reveal, if only because it dominated so heavily at the WCQs. So I would imagine we're gonna see, if anything, the harsh and quick rise of Melffy as a strategy, because in the absence of Blitzkrieg, this does really well. So that's my thought process there. It's great in Genesis. I think it's very fun and advanced constructed for learning the game. That's my thought process. Thank you for watching. Much appreciated. I hope my partner likes it, and I hope you guys like the video. See you very soon. Take care. Much love. Bye-bye.